Satchidanandarupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditarataschaarteshvabhignaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsuryaha Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Projita Gaitavo Gaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastava Matra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kimva Parerishwaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Trakritibihi Shushrushubistatchana. Hari Om, and greetings from Niagara Falls. Bhavapatti. In English, this means the path to feeling. The path to feeling happiness. This is a very technical and important path, which I would like for you to remember, I would like for you to note. There are 3 points on this path. Point number 1. Abhavana. Abhavana. In English, this means the sense of feeling independent joy is impossible. Abhavana means no feeling, no possibility. Now the bhavapatti, the way to come out of this is shravana. Shravana, or listening. When I listen to one who's trying to be independently joyous or is independently joyous, I start to feel that this is a possibility. I start to feel this is the message I need for my life. Summarizing this, inspiration. The second, asambhavana. Asambhavana in English means this message is unreal. This message is impractical. So what to do? How do we follow this path? Manana. Manana is when you reflect. It is when those doubts about this message get purged. So not only is this the message, this message is real. The summary word, reflection. So I first need inspiration. I next need reflection. Number 3, viparita bhavana. Viparita bhavana, which means this message doesn't apply to me.
This message is real, but this message is not applicable to me. It applies to someone who has purity of mind. It applies to someone who's older. Viparita bhavana means erroneous notions. And the way to come out of this, how do we flow in this path? Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana, where I'm perpetually keeping this real message in my heart so that I start to feel that this message is not just real, but it is personal. This applies to me. The summary word is contemplation. So coming back, pati means to fall. So this bhava pati is our fall from independent joy. But in a subjective science, the way that you've fallen is the same way that you have to fall up, flow. Correct? So if there's abhavana, I need listening or inspiration. If there's asambhavana, this is how I've fallen, I need reflection or making this real. If there's viparita bhavana, I need contemplation so that this message is personal. Then this becomes bhava. Bhava means I feel that independent joy. Why I'm commencing today's class with this, because you've now heard 95 times Satyam Param Dhimahi. The first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And though this is the last few words, in Sanskrit, the most important words come at the end. One goes backwards. So what is the most important message in Bhagavatam? Satyam Param Dhimahi. Dhimahi means to contemplate. Contemplate on what? Satya, but not this worldly Satya, like a court truth. Satyam Param. The sacred truth, the subjective truth. And this is so pertinent for chapter 10, which is focused on Sri Krishna. As we reach 100 classes, hours together, are you feeling less interested in your body and more interested in Bhagavan? One of the strongest sentiments of viparita bhavana or erroneous notions is that I am this body. But for anyone who is contemplating on the absolute, they're identifying more with Bhagavan than their body. And right now, the portion of the 10th section we're in is Bhagavan's vivahas. The English word for vivaha is marriage. The philosophy of the word vivaha means vishesha vahati. Vahati means to lift. The prefix vi means a special lift or upliftment. Upliftment. If you ask a typical person, what has been one of the happiest days of your life? The typical person will say, when they got married. Yes? And see how much we remember, and many of you are not married. The point is, it's all related to you. My graduation or my birthday, I already referenced my marriage. We remember this so regularly. Srimad Bhagavatam is so scientific in the sense of Bhagavan Krishna is going through multiple marriages. We should remember those marriages, correct? That way we're shifting our identification from this body to Bhagavan. That's why I'm moving slowly. Indian marriages are slow anyways. But I'm moving slowly in a practical sense. Remember the context of his marriage. Remember whom he got married to. Remember those children. Remember him. That's what this is designed for. Bhagavan Krishna's first vivaha is with, share with me in the chat, Devi Rukmini. Correct. And I appreciate you prefacing the word Rukmini with Devi. Okay, she's not your friend on WhatsApp. Hey, Rukmini. You wanted the joke of the day. She is Jagat Janani, the creator of this universe. Devi Rukmini. And Bhagavan Krishna's second vivaha is with? Good. Devi Jambavati. Jambavati. Bhagavan's third vivaha, Devi Satyabhama. Satyabhama. Bhagavan is about to have 16,005 more vivahas. So make sure you have a big book to write all of these details down. We will start flowing through some of them. In our last class, one of the main happenings related to the Syamantaka, this money, this jewel that produced an hour of gold a day. And the symbolism behind this is for us to enjoy being a jewel, and whatever comes from us, to share that. And the last scene in the last class was how someone like Akrura, whom we earlier studied was most noble, but even when we're most noble, we get into ignoble company. There's this Viparita, we become confused. And he's telling everyone that Sri Krishna stole the Syamantaka, and Sri Krishna makes Akrura show it to everyone. So that Sri Krishna's name is cleared. Akrura is the one who is lying, but Sri Krishna says, you keep it. Those who are blessed more are not blessed with wealth, they're blessed with devotion. We continue. The 10th skanda, the 58th chapter, the 29th shloka. This relates to Sri Krishna's fourth vivaha. Ato paye me kalindim supunyartha vrikshak urjite vitanvan paramanandam swanam parama mangalam. And what's shared here is Sri Krishna brings Devi Kalindi. Sri Krishna's fourth patni is Kalindi, brings her to Dwaraka. And when they arrive in Dwaraka, and their vivaha is facilitated in the right way. Okay? So I'll explain more about what has happened here. Sri Krishna finds out that the Pandavas are safe. Remember in the last scene, there was a rumor that the Pandavas were all burned in this palace made of wax, but they escaped, and Sri Krishna finds out that they're safe. So he quickly goes to be with them. And when he finds out that they're safe, He already knows this, but he's so happy. And there's such details that are shared that Sri Krishna prostrates to Yudhishthira and Bhima. He hugs Arjuna, and Nakula and Sahadeva prostrate to him. And the messaging here is obviously the relationship with the Pandavas, but how Sri Krishna, because he's younger than Yudhishthira and Bhima, that he prostrated to them. That just shows the humility with which Sri Krishna lived and was teaching us. They naturally were happy that Sri Krishna was with them. So Sri Krishna stayed with them for 4 months. The Varshikan Masan, during the rainy season. And I'm particularly sharing this with you because if you remember, one of the rainy seasons, he was in Vrajabhumi. And he was looking out and learning so much from nature. But now he's an adult. He has so many more responsibilities. He can't just live in a hut and enjoy nature, that he has to be in the kingdom. This is all statecraft. While he was with the Pandavas for these 4 months, one day, he and Prince Arjuna, they went into the jungle. See the foreshadowing. They went into the jungle. And as they were traveling, they get near the river Yamuna. And near this river, they see this beautiful Devi. I am not one who tends to describe people as beautiful, including kids. I find too many people will say, he is so handsome or she's so cute, but that's all they are. But that is the first thing that one sees, correct? In our Cleveland assembly, I'd asked everyone, over the last 7 years, do I look older? And some of the kids had their hands up, so we removed them from the, from the assembly. But there was many, the train seekers who had their hand down. No, Vivekji, you look younger. You're becoming younger. But my point is, the first thing one sees is that physicality. She's just waiting near this river. So Prince Arjuna goes to her and asks, who are you? And she says, I am Yamuna. I've already taught you this in class, that another name for Yamuna is Kalindi. This is a nice name. She says, I am the daughter of Surya. Surya Sura, as in the semi-god. And I'm waiting for Bhagavan Vishnu. I am waiting for him to marry me. And when Prince Arjuna reports this back to Sri Krishna, who knows all of this, that's where he takes Devi Kalindi in the chariot and brings her back to Dwaraka, and they both get married, as I just read to you. Okay? So that's the context. I'll offer some Vedanta to this. Like Devi Rukmini, Devi Kalindi is a mumukshu. A mumukshu means the one who will never be satisfied with any achievement, any state, any experience less than moksha. She's waiting for Bhagavan Vishnu to marry her. Now, put yourself in this position. How long are you ready to wait for Bhagavan's darshan? How much effort are you willing to invest to be free? Don't answer this in the chat, okay? If it's any answer less than infinity, then more mumukshutvam is needed. The classic example that is always shared is, and Swami Vivekananda describes it as your hair on fire. I don't think too many of you have had your hair on fire before, but running out of air. If you've ever been in water for too long and you just need to get out of that water with that intensity, what is your only thought? I need to let go of these limits. She is a mumukshu. And what is that marriage then? What happens to a mumukshu? Moksha. That's what that marriage is. One of Sri Krishna's names is Mukunda, which means moksham dadati, the one who gives moksha, the one who gives freedom. So please do not interpret these vivahas in a limited way. Okay, another vivaha. We're in the same chapter. There's actually 4 weddings in the same chapter. It's like a hall, a banquet hall, A, B, C, D, right? So we've gone to A, now we're going to B. And then we're in the 31st verse. This Devi's name is Mitra Vinda. Mitra Vinda. I'm reading. Rajadi Devyastanayam Mitra Vindam Pitrashvasuhu Prasahya Hitavan Krishno Rajan Rajnyam Prapashyatam. The build up to this vivaha. Lots of awesome details relating to the Pandavas. I feel that we're very fortunate to be able to study Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita together. The palace that the Pandavas were living in burned down. Shri Krishna, who naturally is fond of the Pandavas, instructed Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma is an astral architect. All of the architects we know, they have limited degrees. Vishwakarma is the astral architect to build them another palace. During this time, Shri Krishna and Prince Arjuna, remember they hugged each other. They went to the jungle together. They continued to explore their relationship. And as they would explore, Shri Krishna would be Prince Arjuna's charioteer. And once they went into the jungle and they helped Agni Sura, the semi-god that is Agni, that is fire, because he was fighting a jungle called Khandava. Khandava. And when Prince Arjuna helped Agni Asura, Agni Sura, what Agni Sura gave to him was 2 special white horses. Special white horses that you see in Prince Arjuna's chariot. He gave to him the Gandiva, this indestructible bow. He gave him 2 quivers, and I think I misspoke. I meant 4 horses, 2 quivers. 2 quivers where the number of arrows in these quivers would never be exhausted. An armor that could not be penetrated. Okay, so now Prince Arjuna is building up his weaponry. And when Sri Krishna was in Dwaraka, he had heard about 2 people who were friends with Duryodhana. Their names were Vinda and Anuvinda. And their sister's name was Mitravinda. And Vinda and Anuvinda, since they were friends with Duryodhana, they were not fond of Sri Krishna, but Mitravinda, she wanted to marry Bhagavan Krishna. And when Bhagavan Krishna found out about this, he can read everyone's mind. He went into their kingdom and he took Mitravinda into his chariot and brought her back to Dwaraka. And in the right way, they got married. So that's the details here. Some Vedanta. Bhagavan Krishna, as I just mentioned, he can read our minds. Shared more technically, he is ever available. Now, the reciprocity in this is, are we thinking about him? He can read our minds, but are we thinking about him? He is ever available. Are we ever available? So here's another Devi. I described Devi Kalindi as a mumukshu. You see with Devi Mitravinda, she was ever available for Bhagavan. She had to be ready to as if be captured by Bhagavan. We will flow through one more Vivaha, but before we do, Bhagavan Krishna's Devis thus far are Rukmini, Jambavati, Satyabhama, now Kalindi, and Mitravinda. Before I continue with one more Devi, you all know that the total Devis that Sri Krishna marries is 16,008. 16,000 do not have names. They're not specified. 8 do. Now you have 5, correct? 3 more to go. Tell me in your study of Advaita Vedanta, what does 8 symbolize? What does 8 symbolize? Maya is one of the symbolisms. What else? Needing one more for completion. The moksha dwaras. Yes, the sun, moon, and the pancha mahabhutas. Good, good, good. Bhagavan Krishna is one. One is the symbol for Brahman. 8, these Devis, are symbolic for Maya. Brahman expresses through Maya. These 8, technically, they symbolize the 5 elements. I'm going from the bottom up. Earth, water, fire, air, space. You've all learned that in Tattva Bodha. The next 3, mind, intellect, ego. You've all learned that in Upadesha Sara. And the implication of this, whether it's your outer world, that's the 5 elements, or the inner world, the mind, the intellect, the ego, all of this depends on Bhagavan, or depends on existence, awareness, joy. These 16,000 only represent further modifications. You have 1, gets expressed as 8, gets expressed as 16,000, gets expressed as many more. Your watch, your fan, your relationships, the past, the future, etc. The focus shouldn't be on these permutations and combinations, but rather should be come back. Come back to that entity that is never changing, that entity that is the locus for all else. I shared that I would introduce the next one, so I'm going to. We're still in the same chapter, and now we're shifting to verse 47. This Devi's name is Nagnajiti. Nagnajiti. I'll say it one more time. Nagnajiti. Okay, so in our next Devi culture class, I would like to see some of you change your names to Nagnajiti, if you can spell it. Here's the verse 47. Tatah priti sutam raja dadau krishnaya vismitaha tam pratyagrahagad bhagavan vidivat sadrishim prabhuhu. There is a Raja, and his name is Nagnajit. And he had a daughter named Nagnajiti. And he was great. Do you know where he's living? In Ayodhya. Who was living in Ayodhya before? Raja Dasharatha, Raja Rama. So now he is the leader of Ayodhya. So he is great. And he has a daughter that is equally great. And to ensure that she has the vivaha with one who is equally great, the condition was they had 7 wild bulls. 7 wild bulls. And whoever could tame and tie these bulls, only that person could be wedded to Nagna Jiti. And many tried, and they were all gored. They were all maimed by these bulls. Now, this is Ayodhya. Where is Sri Krishna right now? In Dwaraka. And I already told you, he's a mind reader. That's why we should be very careful about what we think. Okay? The implication of all of this really is Sri Krishna knows your intention. So many of you are asking questions about retirement or asking about the gopis. He knows our intention. So let us not be hypocrites that I'm doing this, but my intention is different. He heard this, and so he heard in her prayers that I am meditating on Sri Krishna for him to be my spouse. And the word meditating is used. And that's so lovely because whenever we think of vivahas, we think about going to a beauty salon or going to the bar or using social media. She was meditating for him. And Sri Krishna came to Ayodhya and he already knew the city. He came to Ayodhya. And when he entered this area where the bulls were kept, and it says it in English, he became 7 prototypes. So you have one Sri Krishna, and then there was prototypes, and he had tied them, and he was playing with these wild bulls like they were toys. And Nagna Jiti's father was very happy because he knew about Sri Krishna, and both of them got married too. Now the Vedanta here is similar to Mumukshutvam. Are you available? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about every day, every week, every month? As you think, so you develop. Oh.